City of Stevens Point Personnel Committee meeting, recorded February 8, 2021.
Then we are good to go. First up is Alderperson David Shore and our Personnel Committee. Alder Shore, you have the floor.
Thank you very much. The Personnel Committee is called to order at 6 p.m. And Manager Yakush, would you like to call the roll of the committee for us?
Sure. Shore?
Here.
Zarazua?
Here.
Nabel?
Here.
Dalton? Dalton? Leek?
Here.
Thank you for that. The next agenda item is an amendment to our administrative policy for standard benefits, specifically the life insurance benefit. Lisa, would you like to give us a little background there?
Sure. Just a couple minor amendments to this policy. This is a policy that's offered to city employees to purchase additional life insurance for themselves and their dependents. So just a clarification on the name change. Those were bolded on the second page of my agenda packet. It's Securian / Minnesota Life, not just Minnesota Life. And actually the city pays 20% of the premium. It increased from 18 to 20%. This is kind of a unique benefit, and it's also a pretty cool benefit. Employees who retire from the City of Stevens Point can opt to keep this benefit in place. Only the coverage for themselves, not dependents. However, once they turn age 65, because the city pays this additional percentage, it's considered paid up, so they no longer have to pay premiums. The face value of the policy does decline with your age. However, it never reduces to 25% of your highest annual salary. So it's an excellent benefit. There have been many retirees who I've assisted their families, sadly, when they've passed, but to assist them in getting the benefits. So just a couple clarifications to that language for that benefit. That's all I'm asking for this evening.
Thank you for that. And so the changes are
the name of the insurance,
the name of the underwriter.
Right, and then 18 to 20%.
Very good. Do you want to tell us anything about what's behind the change just
cleanups, just modifications and cleanups that have occurred over time.
Okay,
Minnesota Life is now called Securian. They increased the amount from 18% to 20% that the city pays. Just cleanups, nothing more.
Very good. I'm gonna enlarge that. Anyone else on the committee have questions? Anyone else generally have questions? Let me open the participants here. I'm looking for electronic raised hands. I don't see any. So then a motion.
Cindy Nabel, I'd like to make a motion to accept this amendment to administration policy number 3.01 standard benefits.
Thank you, Alder Nabel.
Leek here. I'll second.
Alder Leek seconds. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Thank you. Alder Dalton is now with us. Any opposed or abstaining? I think I heard everybody anyway. Thank you for that. Now moving on to our next agenda item, which is about the staffing at Central Transportation and the combining of the trainer position. This we've seen this before, yes?
I think we chatted about it briefly when the job description was brought forward for review by
Okay.
our outside consultant.
So
But
now taking action on it.
well, so now what we're doing is what happened is they combined the duties of the travel trainer with the mobility coordinator position. The travel trainer was a part-time position. So what Director Lemke and Central Transportation is wanting to do is now that those positions they have found can be combined and work rather well being combined, they're wanting to eliminate the part-time travel trainer position, which would result in a layoff of a part-time employee, which is not something we make a habit of. However, in this case, it makes good business sense for the department and for the program. I included in the packet the language from the City Administrative Policy 2.12 that talks about layoff and what the process is there. And also included is a memo from Director Lemke kind of outlining what the request is and why they want to go about doing it. And I believe, yep, he is here this evening in the event you have any questions for him.
Thank you. Let me stick with you for another minute because, yes, it's a layoff in the sense of discontinuing that part-time position, but we would be announcing the new combined position, correct? Right. So, I don't know if that's a kind of net even but that's the whole picture rather than just the layoff. I just kind of wanted to clarify that.
The mobility manager was a full-time position already. So, and the travel trainer was an additional part-time position. So,
okay, so it's 1.5 FTE to 1.
Correct.
Okay, thank you. Yes, Director Lemke, anything you can add before we have questions?
Not a lot to add. It's all in the memo there. Really just that it makes a lot of sense with the mobility manager position currently vacant and the travel trainer position being in a temporary layoff since, oh boy, it's, I don't know if it was late March or sometime in April when we did that. The time is right to make this move, I guess is what it comes down to, but I'm here for questions.
Thank you for that. Right, so it's 1.5 to 1 in kind of compared to what we've had immediately. However, that position's been empty, right? So long term, it's 1.5 to 1, but in the immediate past, it's 0.5 to 1.0. If I have that right.
Well, actually,
you said that the mobility coordinator's been vacant. Is that what I'm understanding?
Yeah, but that's
right.
More recent. That full-time vacancy is more recent than the part-time vacancy. So going backwards in time, we were at mobility manager there as a 1 FTE. Further back in time, near the beginning of all our COVID shakeup, it was 1.5. But they're both, essentially vacant right now. So we'd be going 1.5 to 1 essentially.
Okay. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Any committee members with other questions?
Excuse me.
Alder Leek, yes.
Leek here, yeah, District 8. I was curious, you said the action was agreeable to the employee in the memo. Any details on that? Why? How did you come to that conclusion? Or how did that come to be included? Yeah.
It's not real complicated. At the time when we were no longer able to go out and train, actually the part-time, the half-time travel trainer actually recognized that there was no work, right? Oh, okay. And we came to a pretty agreeable action to say, well, because of what we're dealing with, let's basically go into a layoff scenario and see what happens in the future. So ultimately, this is what's happening. And the agreeable thing, what I was talking about was when we went into the kind of temporary layoff scenario.
Thanks for that, and thanks also for the question. Other questions, Alder Nabel?
Yes, thank you. Thank you, Alder. Sure. My question is then that person that was the temporary and had been laid off temporarily is aware that there's no longer then will be a job and is been aware of that, and is the new position going to include one of the two people then that were doing the job? Are you?
Well, certainly, even according to the policy, it's 2.12, I believe. The individual who's been laid off kind of through the travel trainer position is understanding what we're doing right now and aware of it. And the policy states that we'll contact that individual when more work comes available. And since, even if it's not in the black and white, since those duties are being rolled into a new one, of course, that's under consideration. I don't think, I'm not going to speak definitively on this, I don't think the individual's interested in full-time work. But certainly that conversation will happen. And it's, like I said, been a good discussion and understood and agreeable.
Okay. And that's what I was thinking, was the person that was the one full position, are they agreeable about taking on this extra part of this, or are we going to be hiring?
So, Mr. Chairman, we shouldn't be talking about who may fill the position rather than the merits.
Right. No, I
of the
think
position
I
itself.
get that. Yep. I think, but Alder Nabel was asking a slightly different question, not related to particular individuals. Yes.
No.
Yeah,
Yes, correct.
and to just kind of shore that up a little, the individual's aware of the action here tonight, aware of the opening that's going to be created, and that consideration will be made.
Okay, thank you. That is what
Right. So, that's a question about not candidacy, but people being kind of
kept open.
kept up with what's going on. Right. Right.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Thank you.
Alder Leek, did I see you had another question?
No, I might
Okay.
have just been shifting around.
Anyone else on the committee? Now, anyone else generally, and I'm scanning for electronic raised hands. Seeing no one, do we have a motion about these positions?
Lee Care District 8, I will move to, how should this be worded? Accept the proposal outlined in the memo by Director Joel Lemke,
Thank
and
you.
to make this a permanent layoff.
So it's both the ending of the one position, but it's also now the creation.
Right,
of
the creation of the mobility coordinator.
Combined
Right.
position.
Yeah.
To be able to search for it. Thank you.
Yes.
Do we have a second?
Cindy Nabel here. I'll second that.
A second from Alder Nabel. Thank you. We've probably discussed everything. So all in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 Thank you. Any opposed or abstaining? And I believe with that, our agenda is exhausted, and we are adjourning at 6:14.
A video of this meeting is available for viewing on the city's website, stevenspoint.com/videos.